Tennessee basketball has made some news. The good news is for Vol fans, they're still number one. They're still undefeated, as are the Lady Vols. And assuming they beat Norfolk State Tuesday night, both programs will enter the new year undefeated. The bad news, if you're a Tennessee fan, is they didn't look great against Middle Tennessee last week. The day of, Cameron Carr announced he's entering the transfer portal. Just left the program. I don't know if NIL had something to do with that. It seems like there was a promise made somewhere that wasn't kept, or that was kept, or some sort of tampering that happened. Cameron Carr was 6'6". He was a developing, solid player in the rotation. The coaches loved him so much. That's what pushed a lot of last year's wing players into the transfer portal. He got banged up back in November and was set to miss about 4 weeks, or a few weeks heading into SEC play as he healed, but he was going to be fully healthy. And the hope was that once he's fully healthy and Darlington Dubar develops, Tennessee would have enough of a rotation, even with JP Estrella suffering a season-ending injury, to go far in the tournament. Because let me tell you what exactly was the thought of Rick Barnes and company at the beginning of the year. The thought was to be able to go 10 deep with Zakai Ziegler, Jemai Mashak, Chaz Lanier, Igor Milchik Jr., and Felix Opera. Those are the 5 starters. That's a perfect starting lineup, a national title caliber starting lineup. And then the depth to spell that would be Jordan Gainey as a weapon in the backcourt, JP Estrella as a weapon in the post. The top 2 guys off the bench would be those guys. And then Cade Phillips, Cameron Carr, and Darlington Dubar would all get involved too. So he wanted to be able to go 10 deep. JP Estrella goes down with a season-ending injury. No matter. Go 9 deep. Darlington Dubar can operate between the 3 and the 4. If you go 9 deep, you can still go win a national title. But then Cameron Carr entering the transfer portal. Tennessee is only able to go 8 deep right now entering the new year. Not only are they only able to go 8 deep, but Darlington Dubar is still working his way back into the rotation after getting hurt and missing the start of the year due to a personal issue, and still trying to pick up the defensive schemes and Rick Barnes' defensive coaching. With that in mind, as of right now, Tennessee enters the new year ranked number 1 and undefeated, and will play Norfolk State going into the new year, only able to go 7 deep. So how do they fix this problem? Well, 1, Darlington Dubar still has to keep developing. That's the most obvious. If you can go 8 deep, it's a lot easier. But the other part is that Bishop Boswell, a 4-star wing that they signed in the offseason who has played some, a freshman, is going to have to get into the rotation and be a part of it. And this is where Rick Barnes is going to have to sacrifice something he believes in heavily. Rick Barnes lives by the system of you earn your playing time. So if I'm forced to go 6 deep because other bench players aren't developing the way they should, then I'll have to go 6 deep, I guess. That's always been his philosophy. And it has undone him in the NCAA tournament. It's what cost him, by the way, when he had Grant Williams and Admiral Sofield and those guys. He refused to go beyond 7 deep because he didn't feel like the other guys were developing enough and deserved to play. It's not that those guys deserve to play or not. It's that your starters deserve some rest. So when you're dominating opponents, or when you're just, even if you're not, if you're just in a game, your starters need some rest at times. Okay? And you can't live and die by the principle of my starters have to, or my players have to earn their playing time. Sometimes you just have to give them the playing time to give your starters a break. And I think Rick Barnes is going to have to do that now, because Tennessee has a national title team, guys. They've got the best team in college basketball with this starting lineup, assuming it all stays healthy. The crucial point is going to be developing the depth behind them to be able to keep the starters fresh when the NCAA tournament comes. I want to talk about more of that in a second. First portions of the program is brought to you by Double D Piping.
Double D Piping provides full-service fire protection on any scale. From residential homes to government facilities, we can assist any customer through design, fabrication, installation, inspection, and demonstration of fire suppression systems. With 30 years of service across 5 states and a full staff with over 40 years experience, our quality can't be beaten. Don't get caught watching what you could have prevented. Call Double D Piping.
All right, welcome back to the program. So this has happened a few times with Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes right now only is able to go 7 deep because of 2 losses he didn't expect to suffer. To his credit, he turned right to Cade Phillips when JP Estrella went down. I don't think he planned to play Cade Phillips this many minutes, but Cade Phillips has really stepped up. So Cade Phillips in the post to be able to spell Igor Milicic and Felix Opera. Darlington Dubar will be able to move to the 4 at times. Obviously, Jordan Gainey is the reliable bench guy on the backcourt to come out and be a scorer. You really got to develop Bishop Boswell for 2 reasons. One, you need a backup point guard. Right now, Zakai Ziegler is really the only guy that can run the point effectively. Bishop Boswell as a combo wing can probably handle those duties and give you a big size advantage in the process if you're able to pull him out or get him into the game more. But beyond that, you just can't waste this year. This is where I said from the start that this year's Tennessee basketball team is better than last year's team. I can't say that up front right now, though, because last year's team was deeper in the end. But again, that's not how this team started. This team did start deeper. It's because so many players because Cameron Carr left and JP Estrella got hurt. But it's on Rick Barnes if he wants the depth to still be an issue or not. Because, okay, last year's team, I'm just pulling it up. Dalton Connect, Zakai Ziegler, Jonas Adu, Josiah Jordan James, Jordan Gainey, Santiago Vescovi, Toby Owaka, and Jemai Mashak. That's 8 players played at least 13 minutes. You want an option to have 9 guys be able to play at least 13 minutes. That's the real goal. And you don't want anybody playing upwards of 35 minutes. That's the real goal in this. What's Tennessee dealing with right now, though? They're okay so far. Zakai Ziegler is playing the most minutes at 33. Jemai Mashak's number 2 at 30. Chaz Lanier at 28.6. But if you don't start getting Bishop Boswell out there more to develop him in big games, then you're going to see those minutes go up. You're going to see Chaz Lanier at 35 minutes. Jemai Mashak pushing 35 minutes, Zakai Ziegler at 35 minutes, and that's going to be a problem, guys. And now you may say, well, if Tennessee went 8 deep last year, they could go 8 deep this year, the same thing, but it's not actually going to be the same thing because to go deeper into their bench this year, beyond Bishop Boswell, they'll have to go into guys who are not scholarship players like Grant Hurst. They don't want to have to do that. So they really got to get Bishop Boswell out there. He's shown some signs. He's shown some flashes. Rick Barnes is going to have to up his minutes from 4 per game to probably 10, 11. Again, he's 6'4", 203 pounds. So he should be able to run the point guard sets, and he is a tough defender, which Rick Barnes loves. I think Rick Barnes should sacrifice his philosophy of you just earn playing time. I think Bishop Boswell has got to be worked into the rotation. But do you guys think, and this is an honest question, do you guys think Tennessee is deep enough, as currently constructed, to win a natty in the NCAA tournament? They have 9 scholarship guys at this moment, with Cameron Carr transferring and JP Estrella out for the year. They only have 9 scholarship guys. Is that deep enough to win a national title in the NCAA tournament? I mean, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. And so I think that's where this issue is going to come into play, because I think Tennessee is one, you can't bank on everybody else staying healthy. What if somebody else gets hurt? And on top of that, I don't think Rick Barnes will have the gumption to go deep into his rotation the way he should. Now, Darlington Dubar is averaging 11.9 minutes per game now, which is good news for Tennessee. But that number needs to go up to 15 to 16 to maybe even 20. Okay. So again, are they deep enough? I really don't know. We'll obviously not see much from them Tuesday when they play Norfolk State, but I will tell you that Norfolk State has a winning record, and we'll see how much Rick Barnes is willing to use his bench and blow out wins, because again, he's big on you earn playing time in meaningful minutes. So if it's like the first half and Tennessee's up by 15, will he use his bench then? Time will tell. We don't know for sure. But what I do know and what I will say is that at this moment, Tennessee, they got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of work to do to shore up that depth. And I'm not so sure Rick Barnes is willing to do it. And if he doesn't, then he will go into age 71 without a national title, because he's got the team to do it this year. He's got the team to do it. He just has to be willing to use his bench. I get not using your walk-ons, but Bishop Boswell should be able to play in a rotation now as a true freshman 4-star guard. He should. So that's the real big deal in this one. So I think Bishop Boswell is the guy you need to go to. And if you don't go to him, you're going to have some major issues going forward, because truth be told, you won't be able to always go 8 deep. And again, those extra like 3 minutes that those backup guys play a lot of times beyond your 8 deep rotation, that's what keeps your starters from logging 35 minutes a game. And you have to make sure that they don't log 35 minutes a game. Zakai Ziegler is already pushing it at 33 minutes a game. And Zakai Ziegler's 33 minutes is like 40 minutes for other players because he plays at 100% effort all the time. Okay. He goes wall to wall 100. So that's a big deal. I think that more than anything, too, develop Bishop Boswell. So if you do have another injury before the NCAA tournament, you can still go 8 deep. So it's just crucial to develop Bishop Boswell. Everything comes down to Rick Barnes willing to use Bishop Boswell and develop them. That will determine if Tennessee is deep enough to go into the NCAA tournament.